What's up, everybody? Brendan from Market Makers. 51.8 is the number to beat. I will show it to you in the charts and the multiple time frames. Guys, check out our room. The Discord link is in the video description. And if you want a platform to trade on with $630 that you can unlock in free money, check out BitGet. Our link is in the video description as well. No KYC, you don't need an ID, and no VPN. Anybody in the world can use it. Let's jump into the charts. All right, guys, Wyckoff price cycle. I told you before, here's our angel number, 47,772, the number for the pivot point in every single box of DARVAS here for the Wyckoff price cycle. Key number, this is the most bullish thing you could do in a bearish situation, but you look at it from the weekly time frame and you're wondering, where are we hitting our head? Where are we hitting our head? Well, let's first talk about the ranges of where Bitcoin could go to. The ceiling of this box is at 53,298. The base of this box, again, this is just a copy of this box, assuming we stayed in that same accumulation range. The base of this box is at 39,667, okay? So that's your range. So let's go and look at this in the weekly pattern. On the weekly pattern, of course, we're married to that angel number, sitting on the 0.5 fib as well of the pitchfork, using that as support. The SPX is up today. It's very bullish today, and Bitcoin is following suit. So let's look at this on the daily, okay? We need to zoom in. It's kind of like being in outer space and you're looking down at Earth. Start in the big picture, start zooming in to see exactly where you're hitting your head and what the problem is. And guys, here's where you can start to define the resistance for Bitcoin. 51.8 is the exact number of the 0.5 fib retracement in the pitchfork on the daily that has been tracking 100%, as you guys know, through my DMA cloud on here. Let me go ahead and show you exactly where we are with this price hike. So as you know, this pattern dropped the market. Let me get my white swan back on here. This pattern dropped the market 40%. The black swan dropped it from peak to trough 40%. Okay, we got a 40% price declination from this fib pattern, 40.37. And now the white swan has just from here, okay, not even from down here, although you could go from down there, but just from here, the white swan has brought you up 10%. You're up 10% on the white swan, dropped 40%. 50% of Bitcoin price movement captured in two patterns, okay? And of course, if you really want to get specific about it, the white swan brought you up from down here 26%, and at that point you're looking at 66% of Bitcoin price movement captured in two patterns that I've given you guys for weeks, my friends. So look, this is where we're at. The DMA clouds here, you're bearish, and your candles, as you can see, blue candles bullish, red candles bearish. Let me erase these patterns so we can get a clearer picture of what I'm looking at. We have our 51.8 right here in this grid. This is where you're hitting your head. These are daily candles. You tried it once, you got rejected. You tried it twice, and you're getting rejected. Typically, guys, one of the fundamentals of TA, the more you try resistance, the harder the rejections will become, okay? So it'll be interesting to see if Bitcoin recoils back up, tries it again, or if we're going to be waiting till tomorrow to try it again. And if we get rejected a third time, the likelihood of retracing and coming back down to a stronger support, because in this case, you would probably be giving up the liquidity of most of this daily candle right here, okay? This big candle right here. So typically, if we get a third day and we get a rejection, that day or the next day, you could be coming back down to find support somewhere down in this range, okay? You have a lot of support in this range. You have the 200 moving average, which you are below in the 8-hour, 4-hour, and 1-hour, but you do have that beneath you. You have the bullish white swan that has brought you back up from down here up to here, a 26% move. But, you know, this 0.5 fib is a problem, guys, and this is a big problem because you did have this bullish nature, and most likely, if you get rejected, you're going to have retracement. Now, that 51.8 is a very specific number, but let me show you where else that 51.8 number is. Always looking for confluence when you're looking at your charts to find support and resistance, okay? Gann square 9, guys, 51.8. Crossed the 0.5 fib on the dollar. That's where you got to. This candle closed at 51.795. Within $5 of Gann, you got your close, okay? And this is where you're at right now. And this candle opened at 51.914 at its high. So, you know, this is what you're looking at right now. You're probably going to retrace down to this 50,700 for GAN, find some support, and try to marshal yourself to go back up. But just like I showed you the other day, you have to remember this 0.5 fib is a descending angle, right? So you're going to have a daily candle tomorrow go this way or down, and you're going to have another daily candle, and this is painting a descending triangle. You see this? A descending top and a flat bottom, okay? So if you do end up testing this bottom for support and you're bouncing off of it, you're painting a descending triangle, and you have to be very careful because price will just descend from there. And like I said, I would expect us to at least come down to 49.6 with more rejections and be somewhere in this grid. We may be below 49.6 at that point. Let's go ahead and zoom in on a smaller time frame. 8 hours, guys. 8-hour time frame. Again, you can see the 51.8 confluence. You can see how we have our pivot point leaving our DARVAS box, and now we're just consolidating underneath that 51.8 number. Our volatility bands are beginning to descend. This is actually good. You want volatility here. Volatility is the separation of candles. You want to be above these bands in a bullish situation, but getting in the middle of them is better than nothing because you need big separation like this to really have big movements. Your 200 moving average is still above you, this dotted blue line. Let me go ahead and take this off. Let's see where we are in relation to Ichi here as well. See if we have Kumo cloud support, resistance. So we have our moving averages right here, and we're in the middle of them, okay? So this is also what's rejecting us is our moving average, our volume-weighted moving average, and then we have the Kumo cloud here forming. And as I told you many times, the easiest place to try to work your way through this resistance clouds is in the center of a very small area, okay? You don't want to deal with the mass because the way these work, as resistance gets stronger, the shape changes and they get fatter, and then price will come up to it, possibly get rejected, come down, come up to it, possibly get rejected, and they start descending further, okay? So that's what you need to be on the lookout for and very careful and cognizant of that. Let's go ahead and turn Ichi off, and let's look at our DMA cloud here as well. So we did get above our DMA cloud here, which is bullish. So, you know, it's a mixed bag, but, you know, you have this nice little pump, but again, you have a lot of resistance above you. 51.8 is the key number to flip, to start possibly moving up higher. And there's just, whenever you have, as you guys know, a dump like this, you're going to have a lot of resistance as you work your way down. Now let's look towards the future. How can we predict where a big move will come from? If only there was some type of indicator that could show us that, and there is, guys, volatility indicators, okay? Here is our baseline, my green line here, and this is exactly where, if you look up here, confluence with candles, we're on the doji right here at the baseline, and sure enough, when the ATR spiked back up, we got to this doji, you see the selling action on the top, and then we dumped, and you see the ATR spike up, okay? And guess what? We're descending now back to the baseline. There's no timeline I can give you for this descension. If you get some candles that go up and down a lot, this is going to be elevated. But if we want to see it come back down to this baseline, and then really it's just a matter of figuring out, is that move, that explosive move, potentially going to be up or down, right? That's what you have to figure out. That's when you look at your other indicators. That's when you look at trend, momentum, everything, okay? So on volume right now, you can see the selling volume is getting below the signal line, so it's bullish. Again, these are 8-hour candles, so it takes longer. Our volume momentum, on balance volume is up. Shanday's kind of flat, pointing down, again, because we did get rejected, okay? Let's go ahead and move forward the 4-hour time frame. Again, we left our DARVAS box, had a nice little bullish move, and we're rejected. But let's look at the indicators in this time frame. And we do have our baseline here from where we dumped as well. So we're also approaching this baseline. So I'm watching my volatility indicators closely. And as you can see, the 4-hour time frame is a little bit more current time frame. And you did have buying volume, but it's kind of petering out. Okay, although it's slightly up here in this trend, you can see it's not big bars at all. So it's kind of petering out. You have your volume momentum, your on-balance momentum here. And as you can see, that's kind of flat, and your Shanday is pointing down. Let's see where Ichi is on the 4-hour time frame. If we're in the cloud battling or what we're doing here. So once again, we're in the moving averages. We try to get above it, and we got rejected. And look at the size of the cloud. See, this is what I'm talking about. The clouds are going to get thicker, and it's going to push price down theoretically when it hits it. You can always cut through any size cloud, but this is just giving you a visual representation of strong resistance. Here would have been the weak resistance, guys. This is where you want to see price just elevate to and punch through there because, look, there's nothing there. I mean, there's no resistance there. Now, as you come over here, a lot more resistance. Let's go to the 1-hour time frame. 1 hour time frame. Let me turn some of this stuff off. 1 hour time frame, you can see our regression channel right here. Let me pull this down. So we elevated, we got up to our regression channel, and we're right still in the red. We fell back below the regression channel for the red regression. And again, if you get above 51.8, we got to start to tackle the 200. 52.950 is going to be very difficult. The 200 moving average, when you're below it, it descends to you. Okay, so it's a descending resistance coming down to you. When you're above it, it ascends to you as support. So again, depending how long you hang out down here, this is why you see like Kumo clouds, Ichi. This is why you see resistance drop to you. Okay, so it's dropping. So we need to see a move come up. But again, so much of this is going to be tied with the macro markets and the stock market. Now there's multiple baselines I have for the 1 hour time frame, because again, the 1 hour time frame, it did elevate from here. So if we come to this first baseline, which we're almost at, we could see a move. But when we look at our volume, so you don't want to see that. This is, you start to look at direction and trend, right? So you had your buying, and then look what's happening. You have your selling coming into play. When you start to look at which way an explosive move would go, you got to look at your volume, you got to look at your momentum and see what's happening. Your on-balance momentum, your on-balance volume is dipping off, your ATR is descending. This could retrace back down and come back down to the 49.6 or fall through it, and you'll be back down in this grid again, okay, this DARVAS box that I have down here. So something to watch. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the TA. Smash up that like button for me. Helps me out in the algorithm. And please subscribe to the channel. And guys, really appreciate your support. I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday. Happy trading. New update coming tomorrow.